All right. All right, you guys. I'm super excited as the ticker ticks down rather. We are ready to get started. So there we go. You guys, super excited to be here today to talk to you all about what we're doing today to get patients for cash services such as decompression, neuropathy, non-surgical knee, and more importantly, those who are able to pay qualified and doing it in a very efficient, automated fashion, which I'm sure you're hearing a lot of with automation and things along those lines. But then this third point is how to never pay an ad agency again. So thank you for coming. Excited to have you. Sorry for any confusion that may have happened because of my emails, whatnot, but big thank you for everyone for showing up. So I want everybody to have a really good experience today. And over doing this for years and years and years, doing online trainings and things along those lines, what I have found that can help everyone win really big is just engagement. Just asking questions, making sure that your questions are getting answered. The best way to do that is to grab that chat bubble right now and to send me a message. Let me know where you're at, where you're located, and tell me that you are ready to go. So go ahead. Oh, we got a hand raised up. That's fun. Go ahead and, oh, do I need to enable the chat? I have been known to not always do that. So here. All right. The chat is now enabled. Thank you so much for, I guess the waving the hand means you cannot. All right, there we go. Awesome. All right, rock and roll, you guys. Let's get moving. All right, today we're really going to focus on something I call the big three, okay, which is knee pain, neuropathy, and low back pain. All right, so this is for you if you've failed with marketing previously, if you've hired and fired an agency, if you've had a really hard time struggling to get a return on your investment when investing those marketing dollars into those efforts. Okay. So today, by the end of this training, you're going to be able to not pay for crappy leads. You'll know how to identify, you'll know how to, say that approach won't work for what we're trying to do. You'll know how to not hire an agency. Those fees are high at this point in time, at this evolution of where we're at in the game. It is no longer required to do so. And you'll find out how I can make such a claim. And then really, you'll find after 8 years of doing this, how I personally have figured out how to get able to pay qualified patients on a monthly recurring basis, which is what you need to grow your practice. Okay. A little bit about me. We won't spend a ton of time here, but I've been in the business for 8 years now. So that says 7 years. I need to update this slide. 20 years as an entrepreneur. This is my lovely family. This is me speaking at Ultimate Achievers Club a couple years back with the bald eagle there in the background, Patrick Gentempo. I had a top-rated podcast called the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast. I penned this book called New Patient School, the how-to guide for converting more leads into patients. It's all about the statistics. It's all about the methods, the tactics, the protocols on how to take leads online and turn them into patients. And maybe one of the biggest claims to fame, I'm not going to call it fame, but potentially credibility, is my agency is the only agency to ever have a published case study on new patient marketing in the chiropractic space, meaning the Facebook business department actually published our marketing campaign and our results. And of course, I'm the co-founder of Patient Stream, who is the host of today's webinar. All right, today's agenda. In our small amount of time that we have here to get today, okay, I have a goal. I want to make sure that everybody wins in the following ways. Number one, I am going to share with you the proven formula. Okay, I want to show you how we get qualified niche patients, because I know there's a lot of bad behavior going out there, things that you don't understand, things that are frustrating. So I'm going to show you the formula on how this works. Number two, I want to give you clarity, all right, because a lot of this sales gimmicks, a lot of the things that you see on ads, emails, even webinars like this, all they do are just show you little fancy things that just go out and create more confusion. And then ultimately, this should be if we do this right, and if we get some participation from you guys as well, that'll help even go further. We want to unlock growth potential in your practice right now today. Okay. Meaning I'm going to show you some actual methods, some offers that you can start using and get some big wins. All right. Here's what I need from you. And really, we've kind of talked about this. Participation is a big one for me. Okay. I'm here to show you what I've discovered with the end goal of you being able to go back to practice and to your practice, and not just improve it, but actually change it forever. I know it's a big statement, but we've seen people do crazy things, which you'll see here today. And then the second is implementation. Nothing bothers me more than giving transparently, giving information, showing proof, showing how all this stuff works, to only talk to the same doctors years later and nothing has changed. Nothing works. And you guys have all seen that. All right. Hopefully you guys are ready. Are you guys ready to go? Give me a thumbs up, give me a hand wave, give me a chat, give me something, and let's rock and roll. Yes. All right. Awesome. Let's do it. Listen, just a little bit of the landscape, and we won't beat the dead horse on this one, but whether you've dealt with people who are newer to the business, who want to learn on your dime, people like this, hey, just land my first chiropractic client. How do I target these clients on Facebook? What are their interests? Help, I'm launching my first funnel, whatever it is. Like these people, I call them dishonest newbies. If they're new, they should just tell you, but they don't. They want to learn on your dime. Or maybe the guarantee the global. This actually is the worst one, honestly, because these are people potentially who know better. And they're not just new, but they're guaranteeing crazy things. And this was a specific example that I saw. And what was hilarious about this one in particular, they say, get 90 new patients guaranteed. You click on the ad and what do you see? Get 30 guaranteed appointments. So apparently when they guaranteed the 30 appointments, that wasn't enough to really move the needle. So they're like, nah, what could we do that would be better than this? Well, let's offer 90. Why not? Round number, kind of. New patients. So this is you guys. This is what we're all left thinking. You know, listen, all these guys are doing is throwing crap against the wall and seeing what works. And it basically looks like nothing that they do work. Okay. And we're left with a lot of behavior, a lot of people tired, sick and tired of this. And a lot of this too, once you do start working with people, hey, I'm getting a bunch of leads. Okay, well, I'm getting leads, but they're crappy. They're not turning into patients. All I do all day long is chase people. I get people saying, oh, I didn't give you my information. I didn't fill out that form. And we end up with people at the end of the day who are just a bunch of tire kickers filling up your schedule. And, you know, so that's one side. The other side is what happens when it actually does work. Hey, excuse me, this is working. All right, awesome. And then it's not working. And then it's working. And then it's not working. And then it's working. And then it's not working. And you're the person constantly, you know, tapping the vein and saying, hey, this isn't working anymore. What's going on? And then boom, you know, things magically start working again. So here's some obvious conclusions that this just doesn't work. This is not for you. Okay. That must be the obvious conclusion. Okay. Facebook ads don't work. They never have. The lead quality is always going to be garbage. And so there must be something wrong with your area. But is that the obvious conclusion? Actually, you guys have all seen people win with these ads. You've all seen testimonials. You've talked to people at conferences. You've talked to people about who's the best, and then you try that person and they're not the best. Well, listen, if there can be others who are succeeding with it, you can too. In fact, today I'm going to show you, I'm going to detail for you rather, how a clinic doubled their practice in 2.5 months. Okay. I'm going to show you how they did it with a single ad, one ad, how they did it spending $40 a day, and how it saved their practice from not just financial ruin, but from existence. Okay. And so we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Before we go into this, I need to clear the air a little bit. Even though I can verify everything I'm going to show you today, okay, it only works if you do. Results vary because effort varies, intent varies. All right. We have some people that come in and crush it. We have some people that come in and quite frankly, they never even click go. So I hope you guys are ready to go. Are you ready to go? Are you ready to see all of the things that we have figured out and that I'm now ready to spill the beans on and share with you? Grab the chat. Let's make sure that everybody here is ready to participate, ready to see what it is that I have, and we will rock and roll. All right. Your new discoveries. Okay. So discovery number one, the formula Facebook gave me. Okay. We'll talk about that here in a minute. This is a proven way to attract qualified people every single week. And again, it was given to me by Facebook directly. We'll talk about that. I'll show you how that happened. A new tool. I don't want you to chase leads, especially today with all the things that are happening, we've got some cool tools, and we actually have some stuff in the works right now today where I'm going to have to update this particular second discovery with some really cool stuff that's happening. Okay. And then the anti-agency, a simple solution to add a steady stream of new patients without the expense and unreliability of Facebook ad agencies. So number one, let's jump into the formula. So I don't know how many of you know me, know my background, but I wanted to give you guys an insight into why I do this, how I got started. I actually, started here in a clinic. That's Dr. Sonny Gill. I don't know how many of you know him, but a long time ago, he brought me and taught me this business, and I was working directly with docs just like you. We would go and do consulting. I would help them increase their profits. I would help them install systems and improve their operations. We had these one-page protocols, basically a simple and easy way to take, the way that they were operating their business, put in our one-page protocols, and boom, we could start collecting more money, making more money, all that kind of stuff really quick. And then I would show them and educate them on how to enroll cash patients and then how to add new services. And we were really good at it. In fact, even though I'm personally am not a chiropractor, I'm not a doctor at all, I still was really good at coming in and turning around practices and increasing their revenue by 30 to 50% in as little as 45 days in many cases. And Dr. Gill at the front of the room would commonly tell me, we're so good at doing all of these things that I just listed here on this thing. We're so good at adding money. We're so good at this. We're so good at that. If we could just help people get more new patients, we could really turn these things and double their practices. And what was really funny about that is simultaneously, as he had me going around to these practices and implementing these systems, these protocols, these one-page things that could really get people quick wins, he would say to me several times, like during the week, if we could just get people into get them more new patients, we could really make a difference. And not too much time passed before that one thing, getting new patients, became my primary mission. And so from that day forward, for the next 3 years, I said, I'm going to master this area called new patient marketing. I'm going to figure it out. Okay. And I'm sure, like many of you, the prospect of learning something is always exciting when before you start learning it. And then you figure out, man, this is a lot of work. But after doing all that work, putting in all the time and all the effort, and because I never stopped learning, in 2018, something amazing happened, which you guys already know about, which was our case study. Okay. And like I said, we became the only agency to have published results by Facebook. All right. Now, this is an amazing honor for us. Obviously, we can say, oh, we've got proven results. There they are. They're published online. But this was a brand new practice. And we took this practice from $0 in revenue in 3.5 months and grew it to $80,000 a month. But what was really incredible about that whole process, about that whole experience, was what we learned from having the case study published. Now, when you have a case study published, you have a direct line of communication with a different part of Facebook's administration, okay? And we were able to get all of the results, all of the data, all of the information on which campaigns actually made money, because that information is normally held private by Facebook. You get some data, but not the data where it's like, hey, this is how much money this thing made, okay? But because it's our case study, we got all of this data, all of this information, and the data that they told us told an incredibly interesting story. And as the only agency that has a published case study, I'm the only agency that has this information. And what was really interesting, if you look at the text here, it says this clinic offers wellness treatments such as spinal decompression, general chiropractic, and acupuncture. When they showed us the attribution, when they showed us the information, it showed something I'm sure you guys are familiar with. It wasn't exact 80-20, but it's very close. It showed that 20% of the ads were actually creating 80% of the revenue. You guys have heard of Pareto's principle, right? And so this was incredibly revealing to both my partner Jacob and I. And we looked at this numbers, and on the one side, we're like, man, That means that 80% of our ads are not really producing much revenue at all. And that's not good. But on the positive side, we can take that 20% and start to see a pattern. Okay. And here are the macro components in that pattern that we started to see. Okay. Number one, the biggest part was the ads that were making the most money were ads that focused on a niche person and a niche condition. Okay. That was critical. That one thing could not be missed. Okay. The second thing is they included some type of treatment. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. There's some qualifiers around the treatment. Okay. And it never positioned anything as free, or I should add to that, overly discounted. Okay. Now, this pattern, as we looked at it, as we deconstructed it, as we looked at the ads that we were using and still use to this day, by the way, we started to begin to develop this formula. Okay. And today it looks something like this. It's something we call the qualified patient formula. Okay. And again, we've got those three important components. We're focused on a niche. Okay. We charge correctly. Meaning we're not doing free or overly discounted. And then we have a unique treatment. And that's the operative word, unique. Okay. Now we've used this model to get patients all across the board, patients for things like sciatica conditions, red light patients, knee decompression, spinal decompression, of course, shoulder and joint pain, plantar fasciitis, and over 100 total proven campaigns in our library at this point in time. Okay. In fact, like I said, we've used it so much that today we have an entire library of ads with proven results in over, I think it's actually 21 different niches now, it might be more, for chronic pain and natural healing professionals just like you. So I know that right now, maybe you're wondering, this is awesome story. This is great. Should we cheer? Well, that's not necessary. Here's the point. Okay. When you find an ad that can actually produce results like that 80-20, when you find an ad that can produce at that ratio, that is a huge challenge to find. But once you find it, it's a huge asset, because with those leads, with those ads, you can grow your practice incredibly fast and sometimes even save it. And this was the case of Dr. Ray Peavy with Arcadia Family Wellness. Okay. Dr. Ray Peavy is a really interesting story. The pandemic really hit his practice really hard. And I'm sure it hit many of your practices incredibly hard. He went, after 30 years in business, from 180 weekly visits down to 80. He heard about Patient Stream, what we're doing, from a friend of his. And then he signed up right away and quickly started using qualified lead formula. And he was able to double his practice in about 2.5 months. And the crazy thing is, with this one single ad, with this one single offer. Okay. Now, I know that you're thinking to yourself right now, we're going to jump into this more just so you guys understand. This sounds good, Sam, but I've seen results like this before. I've tried Facebook leads personally and they didn't work for me. It's great that they worked for him, but not me. Most of the time, when we were doing that, people didn't seem interested at all in the first place. And to you, I say, you're right. Those are big butts, and I cannot lie. Here's one thing I want you to understand. You guys catch that? All right. Here's one thing I want you to understand. And this is going to dovetail into the qualified lead formula. And hopefully by sharing this, you're going to start having your own epiphanies and start realizing this was a big part of why this was failing all along. Okay. All leads are not created equal. If you look at the spectrum, we can go from general services all the way over to specific services. And these are just a few examples. Okay. A general service would be chiropractic, massage. People know what the prices are on those. And so they are generally understood. And when you know what the price of something is, the only move you can make is by discounting it. We move over to the other side where we start talking about things like we're talking about here today. as well as other things, of course, neuropathy, knee pain, decompression, arthrosciatica, bulging disc, and herniated disc into that same specific side of the spectrum there. Now we start getting into really specific issues and problems. Now, in terms of response rate, because there's so many options on the general side of this spectrum, people have options. They can shop you around. They can go from here. They can go to there. So the response rate based on the level of motivation in your patients is low, just by the just as a product of them being on the general side of the spectrum, as opposed to the high side. If you have neuropathy, if you have knee pain with, the imminent prospect of having to have surgery, these are highly motivated, highly specific people. Okay. And the more specific your ads, your ad qualified lead formula that we use can be, the more likely your success. The more you hone in on what we call the qualified zone, the more you're going to win, the more you're going to make that 80-20 work for you. Okay. Here's what is key. Okay. And this is maybe just recapping and reiterating. When we use this formula, we have to make sure that these ads talk to a specific person. We've got to find the people with the right level of interest. And maybe that should be, instead of right interest, it should be right or current motivation. Okay. And then we have got to find a way. Just because we're marketing online doesn't mean we have to entertain all of the tire kickers, all of the people who are just there for a freebie deal. And so we got to make sure that that's part of the formula as well. All right. So I'm going to show you a couple of examples here. And hopefully at this point, we've seen the formula, we've seen the spectrum. I want you to see from your previous experience, what has happened, what has been your experience when you've offered things like this. So your first adjustment, exam, reported findings for $21. Let's check. How well does this follow through our process here? It does offer treatment. Okay, that's good. For this one, because it is on the general side, that is actually charging appropriately. But who are we talking to? There's no specific condition listed here. So right there, the formula breaks. Okay. And you only have to miss one for your results to kind of derail. So let's try this one more time. So what happens when you do something more like this? We're going to take a very similar offer. Okay. Spinal decompression. They get one treatment, an evaluation, and reported findings for $55. Do we offer a treatment? Yes, we're doing that. Okay. Are we charging appropriately? Yes, we're still discounting it, but we have this pricing threshold number that weeds out the cheapskates, I guess you could say. Okay. And then are we talking to a specific enough person? Well, yeah, sciatica. It's a very specific condition. This is going to help and produce qualified leads. Now we're being very superficial at the point. There are the images we use. There are the ad copy that we use. There is the opt-in process and that whole process of how we actually qualify them. But these are all, this is the superficial part of getting qualified people to pay attention from the get-go. Okay, is this making sense? Is this making sense, guys? Let me go ahead and do a quick little pop quiz, and we're going to solidify where we're at with this. Who makes more, the generalist or the specialist? I mean, everybody knows it is always the specialist. Okay. And our case studies, everything that we learned from that Facebook case study confirmed that this was the case. In fact, if we go back to that 80-20, the 20% of the ads that produced 80% of the revenue, guess where that money came from? Came from spinal decompression cases. Okay. The patients were very qualified. In fact, this particular feedback, obviously, I'm not going to get feedback like this from Facebook, but I went back to the clinic. I said, tell me about the people that were coming in this time frame for decompression services. I want to know, what was it like? And the feedback was pretty unanimous. It said, like, most of the time they were very qualified. They were able to pay because, your ability to pay is largely based on what you're willing to pay. Right. And if you have a big enough problem, then, willing to pay, it all then comes down to terms of payment. Okay. They were easy to reach and the follow-up was similar to normal patients. And not just that. Okay. The opposite side And we've done some things to tune up our general marketing lately even, but the general side, we're mostly hard to reach. Okay. Again, chronic pain, the problem with chronic pain is it comes and goes. And so chiropractic, acupuncture, those people were not as highly motivated. All right. So here's the point. Okay. And we're doing a lot of here's the points. There's two types of leads. The ones that I want you to really be focused on and understand is your opportunity lies in the niches. Niches scale while general fails. It doesn't mean that there's not options for you. It just means that if you're going to set into this opportunity to really explode your practice, talking about doubling your practice or taking your practice from 30,000 to 50,000 in collections, we got to focus on the niche first. All right. So here we are so far. All right. In terms of what is the first step of this process, it's getting the right people, getting the qualified people in front of you. All right. Let's move on to number 2. You guys ready for number 2? Are you guys ready to see how we're taking this formula, how we're taking that whole ratio, that whole dynamic I have shared, and move that into actually growing your practice? Grab the chat. Again, the biggest thing that's going to help all of us win is engagement, is to make sure that I'm not losing you. So grab the chat, let me know, and we will go on to discovery number 2. You guys, are you there? Go ahead, grab the chat, let me know. All right. All right, let's go. All right, cool. Let me see here. Here we go. Very cool. Discovery number 2, a new tool. No more chasing leads. You can fill your schedule with just 20 minutes a day with using this new hybrid tool. All right. When it comes to leads, have you ever heard stuff like this? I didn't opt in for that offer. Been talking about some of these examples. I'm sorry, I'm really busy right now. Can't talk to you later. You know, they're ghosting you. Your agency is like, well, you're probably just not following up enough. And in many cases, to be fair, if you never call people, then you're not following up enough. Okay. And then, you know, they're like, well, hey, well, yeah, all your feedback, Mr. Customer, is valid. This is what the agency valid. This is what the agency says. Maybe record a couple of videos and that will fix everything. Right. And then all you do at the end of the day is just sit there and say, man, this lead quality sucks. Right. Does any of this sound familiar? You guys grab the chat. Let me know. I want to go back to Dr. Peavy's example, because I gave you a very quick brief. Hey, put on the qualified lead formula, and he doubles his practice in 2.5 months. But you know what was funny? When he first started the program, Dr. Peavy almost didn't save his practice. Okay. And he said in the interview we did, he said, at first, I was expecting that all of the folks would just magically start walking through our door. And a lot of people think this. They think that when you start getting these leads because they're coming in at a decent volume, you know, whatever the case may be, they just think that people are going to start showing up and lining up the way a referred patient does. But the reality is, in many cases, they're kind of left, you know, like the person on the right here. So that excitement quickly fades, and they understand what needs to happen in order for them to really grow their business. Okay. Now, even though Dr. Peavy was getting a lot of leads at this point in time, they weren't showing up. We know that. But in this exact case, he had to make this work. His practice of 30 years was at stake. And so one day he was walking by his front desk and she had the lead. She had a Facebook lead on the phone. And he said, is that a Facebook lead? Are you talking to somebody on Facebook? She said, yes. He goes, well, can you pass that over to me? And can I just talk to them? He had to figure out what's going on, you guys. So he got on the phone and he did a 3-minute phone consultation. The patient showed up, converted it into care, like within 48 hours. He went from not getting patients and not making any money on his advertising to going from talking to a patient, 48 hours later, collecting $4,500 for a care plan. Let me ask you this. What would you do next? What would you do next? I hope you say, I would do it again. If it worked once, let's do it again. And so he said, hey, here's what we're going to do. This was crazy. I can't believe that this happened like this. Number one, we're going to add in a phone consult to our process. So we're going to make sure that we're responding to these leads as quickly as possible. Okay. Within 3 to 5 minutes. That is, that is the range that we don't want to go out, even especially during business hours. Right. So we're going to make sure that text messaging is part of our process, that we're doing whatever we can to get on the call with the prospect as soon as possible. And then we take that prospect and we invite them to do a 3 to 5 minute consult with the doc. Okay. The doc does a pre-screen. Now, this is really interesting. Most of the time, just think about this. How do you conduct a phone call with the new patient? And then how does your staff, so your front desk staff whose job primarily is to do scheduling and things along those lines, how do they conduct those calls? By transferring the call format to a conditions-based, problems-based, solutions-based conversation, they really started weeding out and advancing the right people. Okay. And then they wanted to add something where they could find out that these people had an ability to pay. So again, they weren't wasting their time. And over the next 2.5 months, by implementing that process, his practice doubled from 80 to 100 visits to over 200, which was more than pre-pandemic, by the way. Okay. He added $50,000 in cash services per month, just like in 2.5 months. Okay. And because of all of that success, because of that one process that he figured out and implemented into his practice, not only did he add the cash, and after 30 years, he'd never done this. He said, you know what? At my age, I'm going to take a day off of the week. So he stopped working on Fridays, which I thought was one of the coolest things. I mean, the other things obviously are very cool, but in his entire practice, he'd always worked a 5-day week. And now he's down to 4. Let me ask you this. What would it mean to you to have any of the outcomes that he had? What if you could double your practice in 2.5 months? Or what if it even took 6 months, right? He added 50,000. What if you just added 25? What would that mean to your practice? Another $25,000 in revenue. And what if your practice, the marketing, the conversion, all that kind of stuff became so predictable that you had more time, you could take time off even? Or what if you were just able to take the anxiety and potential stress out of your business? What would that be worth, right? Here's a really important question. I want you to think about that, but I also want to pose a real question. What changed? What was the thing that changed Dr. Peavy's outcome? Better leads? Nope. They were the exact same leads. It was the qualified lead formula, you guys. We knew it worked. Did he hire a new front desk? No, he didn't do that. I'm glad he didn't do that. It wasn't her fault. Did he hire a new agency? Luckily, he did not, because generally that doesn't work unless you're working with a really crappy one. If you're working with one that's doing a good job, the hire and fire, it's not always advisable. Now, this dynamic bothered me because he had such a quick turnaround from losing to winning on the turn of a dime. And then one day I was listening to a podcast, and I commonly do that. I like to get early morning education every single day. And so I was listening to this podcast on sales, and the person on the podcast said this one phrase, and I was like, oh, I think this is it. And he said, every conversation has 2 simultaneous dialogues. And this will make sense to you. This will make sense to all you guys. Okay. So the 2 dialogues, every conversation has 2 dialogues happening at the exact same time. The first are the words. Okay. The actual language that's being spoken. So you can call that a script. All right. And then the second, and more importantly, the most important of all, it doesn't even have to be learned, doesn't even have to be scripted, rather, is the tone and the cadence of those words, the belief and the certainty of what it is that you're saying. Okay. So I can give you all that stuff. I can give you the script. Okay. But you have to have that belief. You have to have that element in your calls. And here's one thing I would say to you. You have the belief already, or else you wouldn't be doing it. Does your staff, do the people who work and do the people who represent you in your client communication, your patient communication, do they represent that same belief, that same care? If they don't, I'd recommend that you spend some time sharing with them your results, sharing with them testimonials, outcomes, so they can start to be a believer of what it is that you do. All right. So we've got the qualified leads. That's good. We've got the PV script. Okay. We know the process. We know what needs to be done there to really start turning those people into patients. I know you're excited about that, but I also know that you didn't come here to just learn about a whole bunch of work. You want to know, what about automation? Okay. I don't want to make things harder on you, especially today when things are getting so much easier by using automation and potential AI to increase speed, efficiency, and to use people for connection and conversions, and then automation to really streamline things for you. Okay. So what we did is we took the PV process and we automated it. All right. So we have made it so as soon as a lead comes in, they're going to get that quick response. Okay. They're going to get lead notifications, or you're going to get lead notifications rather. They're going to get text and email. Okay. The messages that we send are there to both them and to you are proven and are very effective. And they, they're best practices for what you're doing. The pre-screen opportunity, we're going to give you the exact script and the process. We have a whole program where you can see exactly how that works. That way you can advance only qualified prospects down into your practice. You can train your staff to do it. We can train your staff to do it. We've got some amazing resources. And then the ability to pay. Now, this is something that we touched on, but we didn't really dive into, which is something I want to do in just a minute. Okay. So, but before we do that, I want to jump into what this pre-built automation looks like. Okay. So pre-built follow-up. So let's say you get a lead. We're going to say Richardsonville is a lead. Then we begin the booking bot process. So automatically the prospect gets a notification and the process starts. Wednesday, what time works for you? Right. And then this conversation starts, and that person will actually get put on your calendar to have a booked appointment, just like you're seeing here. Okay. It's awesome when the doctors allow us to plug in our calendar to their practice. We're able to do that for them right away. Right. So hopefully you're thinking, oh man, the library full of ads, the ability to streamline the follow-up process, you're blowing my mind. Well, we're not done yet. Okay. I know that all sounds good, but we want to talk about this able to pay thing. Now, this was a really interesting, once again, one of my early morning studies. And I was looking at, I've always wondered about how to identify those people. And I had a person that talked about this lesson that he was sharing as an 8-figure stockbroker. He had this thing that they called the magic question. And basically what the magic question would do is, in their call as a stockbroker, they would ask a variety up, half a dozen different questions. And really many of them were, filler questions. Let's just kind of get to know you, whatever. But there was one question that could almost to a 90th degree percentile predict that person would buy stocks from them. What was the question? The question was this: have you ever bought a stock from a online broker like me before? If the answer was yes, they were in. That person would absolutely buy again. The buying intent is a behavior. It's a type of person. And so if you talk to a prospect and you say, tell us what you've done on the phone, you tell us what you've done to solve this problem previously. Well, I've been to urgent care. I've been to here. I've been here. Oh yeah. How about how much money have you put out? Well, insurance didn't cover this. So I've paid. If they have paid money to solve those problems already, they will pay you money so long as you can convey to them through your education and belief that they can resolve their problems. All right, let's do a quick recap. Use people to connect and to convert to cause conversions. With the PV script, that is now a dialed in process. Use automation to make sure that process is speedy and efficient. Okay, we've got that all dialed in for you. And I hope you guys are really seeing how powerful this is. Okay. Is this something, can you see what this would look like if implemented? Now, the way I've presented it to you today, I know this is a presentation, but if you can imagine what this would look like perfectly installed in your practice right now to you today, do you see how powerful it could be? Grab the chat. Let me know. Give me a yes. Give me a thumbs up. I've seen the thumbs up come a couple times. I do like the thumbs up. So that works as well. All right, there we go. Okay. Question is this. It's a nice hypothetical, Sam, but does it really work? Yes, it works. Okay. Nothing is perfect. But when you look at comments for people like this who are saying we love to use PatientStream in our office, it's one of the best tools we've ever seen. You know, obviously, I'm going to be very grateful for people saying things like that. When you see results like Dr. Suhil Samji, who was able to use this system to generate 2,031 leads for a cost of $20.72 per lead, okay, in a 12-month period. And to say to me, you know, it's really funny. I don't know how this thing works, but somehow it knows how to find the people in pain, get their attention, and bring them in. It's amazing. You know how Dr. Samji, it's the qualified lead formula. And it's this entire stack. And there's a couple other cool things that we're going to show you because we're not done yet. We've got the booking bot that is really bringing things to a head. But there's one thing that we're missing. How do we get leads? Listen, I'm not asking you to hire another agency. And I'm not asking you to learn how to run Facebook ads. I'm here to show you how you can unlock the power of Facebook ads without an agency. All right. So here we are at step number 3, or discovery number 3, which what I'm calling the anti-agency. All right. Here's a simple solution to add new patients without the expense or unreliability of Facebook ad agencies. Now, if we go back to the case study, now we're doing a lot of redundancy here. Hopefully repetition will really help this thing sink in. When this case study was published, I remember being very excited and being like, oh, look, all these people are going to see our results and going to see how awesome we are. And everybody's going to want to do business with us. But you know what? Most of the time, our clients didn't really care. Either they're already our clients and getting good results with us, and so they were happy, or if they weren't our clients, they didn't quite understand what that really meant. It didn't have that much cachet to them. However, people in the online community really saw the benefit, and one person in particular saw it. And he said, his name is Bradley, and still is Bradley. He says, hey, we're building a tool for agencies. We see that you have this awesome result on Facebook, so you're the kind of person that we're looking for some consulting from. Do you offer consulting? And when he told us what they were planning to do and how their software was ultimately going to replace the Facebook ad agency, we said, we got to be in on this. Okay. We got to figure this out. So for the next 8 months, I put us into this thing I call now the what if we could cycle. All right. I basically took all of the things that we hated from running an agency. And by the way, as a person who ran an agency, and as you, a client who's hired them, it's not all, you know, sunshine and roses. It's not all easy, but we'd take all of those problems, we'd come up with an idea, and we'd come up with a solution. I would ask Bradley things like, hey, what if we could create our ads from a library? Okay. What if we could pre-build them, make them customizable, and then we could just create them from that library? That would save a ton of time. Okay. And then I'd say, well, Bradley, what if we could make ad creation intuitive? Right now, it's complicated. We have to hire media buyers. We have to hire staff. That's a lot of lost money. That means I got to charge my clients more. In fact, Bradley, what if we could make it so easy that even our clients could do it? And so we went from that cycle, that process, to what today is a process to where you can run your own ads. Okay, without knowing a thing about media buying, which you probably don't even know what that word means, without knowing a thing about Facebook ads, you can do it by yourself because we broke it down into 3 separate clicks. Okay, so these are the 3 questions you have to be able to answer. Number 1, what niche are you wanting to promote? Number 2, what offer are you willing to offer to out of our library? And then number 3, what is your budget? Just those 3 questions. You can run your own ads without a Facebook ad agency. Let me drive this home so you're getting it, so you're understanding exactly what I'm saying. So Sam, what you're saying is I can perfectly create, launch, and get my own Facebook leads, even though I have zero experience marketing. Yep. I can barely log into Facebook, let alone set up an ad. Absolutely. Okay. And, this thing actually works better than an agency. Yes, it does. It can't be that easy. Well, if you give me 60 seconds, I will prove it to you. All right. I'm going to share this quick video with you. I hope that the audio comes through. If it does not, please just let me know in the chat and I'll see if I can fix that, but let's roll. What's up, guys? Hey, I hope you're enjoying the webinar. Now, I'm limited on time. I guess I got 60 seconds. So let me show you my proof through a patient stream demo. All right, so we are inside the templates categories. So in this section, you find all of the different niches. These are all the promises and the problems that we've identified. In this case, let's go ahead and try a neuropathy campaigns. We've got hundreds of offers, lots for you to choose from. And these are all really great offers. Let's scroll down through. Let's go ahead and launch this thermography neuropathy campaign. All right, the next step, put in our daily budget, put in whatever website you want, and then adjust your radius, just leave it like that, and then hit launch. And that's it. You did it. Let's go see what the ads look like. All right, here's the created campaign. You can see, go ahead and click expand, see all the ad creative, the ad copy, the headline, everything you need. The targeting is all included and it was all done within just a few clicks. All right, I know that was quick. It's probably because it's so simple. So thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of the webinar. All right, you guys. So it's really funny because it is incredibly simple. And I got a guy on a webinar maybe 5-6 months ago. And he said, you know what, this is great, Sam. That was a nice demo video, but I think probably this was only easy because you know exactly what buttons to push. And I thought to myself, man, what can I do to show that it actually is that easy? So what I did was I shot another type of demo to show you guys how easy this actually is. So one more time, let's see how easy this is. All right, to show us how easy this really is, this is my 10-year-old little girl, Mia. She has never used this software. This is her first time, her first day. I walk her through it real quick. You ready to go? Yeah. All right, let's do it. All right, Mia, go ahead. Okay, well, you already know what you're doing. Well, hold on. You're going too fast. All right, keep going. That's fine. I told her which ad to run. Go ahead and put in $10. It's fine.
Okay, that's my favorite number anyways.
All right. Put in the thank you page that I gave you. I did give her a thank you page. Yep. You did it. Okay. And just like that.
Did it. I was scared.
She did it. It literally took her less than 30 seconds. Good job, Mia. All right. By the way, Mia absolutely loves being on these videos. She feels like a celebrity. So shout out to Mia. And guys, it really was that simple. Okay. So it's not just me, and it's not just me saying this. Let's see what our users have to say. This is Dr. Donnie Walsh. He said, we started running our ads in December. We're currently running ads for 2 different niches, neuropathy and decompression. We still went through the entire process, committed to practice. This led to January being a record month for new patient income and also collections. He actually followed up, and the following month of February was an even bigger month than January. And then if we go back in time quite a ways, when we first started using just the automated part of our follow-up process, it was good. It was so good that even Michelle Sims said, in the midst of COVID, we're completely booked out for the next 3 weeks. And then we've got Dr. Jeff Frost, who said, this is absolutely the best company I've ever worked with. They produce the most new patients of any company that I've worked with in the last 30 years. And again, we've got, people in all across the country. We've got people in the Midwest, on the East Coast, on the West Coast. This works everywhere. This is Dr. Elon Schreier, and he sent me a text message, and he said, we're getting consistent leads. They show up, and many are starting care. It's working great, and the price is crazy. He says affordable. I also can change the ads whenever he wants. That's the other thing is, You know, you don't have to wait for the agency to change the ad. You can just change them. All right. Here's what Dr. Gochman said. Not only have I saved a ton of money, but after using the additional trainings and support, I've been able to add another $2,000 a day during work days, or like business days rather, in his cash that he's collecting. Okay. It's pretty amazing. And I know you're probably feeling kind of like,
Are you serious? I'm dead serious.
it's really exciting what we do. And it's really fun when things click and when people see the benefit. And I don't know that we could make it any easier. Step one, you click a campaign. Step two, you click the ad. Step three, you put in your budget. And at the end of the day, this thing is so simple that it makes you look so sophisticated in your practice. So let's do a recap of the whole thing. We've got the qualified lead formula. Okay, we've got all of the leads in our library that are proven to get qualified leads. We got the PV script, we got the booking bot, and now we have a way for you to generate ads and leads without working with an agency using our click and go ads. So in the last, I don't know, 40 minutes, 30 minutes, we've talked about our formula, we've talked about our tools, and we've talked about how to get rid of your agency. And I'm hoping at this point, this has been incredibly valuable. Has this been valuable so far? You guys grab the chat. Let me know if this has been valuable. If so far you have learned, you know, the do's and don'ts, the how people are actually growing their practice with proven marketing campaigns. You know, you got a lot of people out there touting that they can do this and that the others can do that, but it's not really worked for you. Have you seen how this can work? All right. Awesome. Very cool. All right. Let me ask you a question. Thank you, Dr. Dan. Let me ask you a question. I know for the last hour, many of you, I have the tendency to talk fast sometimes. I get it, but I know that many of you probably feel like you're drinking out of a fire hydrant or out of a hose, right? Well, let me ask you this question. Okay. Would you like to see how this might work in your practice? If you do, if you want to see what it looks like to plug all of this into your practice, let me know in the chat, let me know, and we can move forward. Otherwise, I don't want to go on and continue. If we've got enough value out of this, we can call it a day. But if you're ready to see how this might look in your practice, grab the chat, let me know. All right. All right. Very cool. Well, I appreciate that, you guys. So here is let's see how it works. Okay. Here is this new special offer. It's something I call the Practice Builder offer. Okay, basically a full installation of our entire automated new patient system. And here's what it's all about. Obviously, we want to get you those qualified patients. That's a big part of what we're going to do. That qualified lead formula, put that to work for you. Help you save a ton of money, okay, by making it so you never have to hire an agency again. And then give you complete control over your new patient marketing efforts. And because we're talking about the big three, okay, I want to give you immediate access to our entire library. Everything about neuropathy, everything about spinal decompression, everything about knee. And all of those, by the way, are backed up with verifiable results. This is a screenshot showing how much money has been spent on these. So it's not, this is not the newbie thing. This is, verified results, verified lead costs. And they're all on things that you really care about, the ones where you make a ton of money. Okay. And we've proven that this does work. And of course, we're going to make it so you can do it in just 3 clicks. Okay. So the first part of the Practice Builder is I'm going to give you full access to the big 3 library to make sure that you can start doing that right away. And then of course, you got to be able to launch the ads, which means the replacement value of hiring an agency, that money is going to be instantly saved. And it may be way more than 18,000. I don't know. It depends on what you're paying. Right. So total value so far of $23,000. But I didn't want to stop there, right? What I didn't share about going back into time in when this was all happening, I actually got into consulting because another business of mine had not worked out for me. It wasn't that the business was bad, it was that the partnership was bad. And you guys are in business, you know how that works. But when Sonny pulled me into this opportunity, it wasn't great for me, to be honest with you. But he inspired me, taught me how to help docs like you, and really showed me how to make this business an amazing business, right? And that is why I still do this. This is why I will always, always try to over deliver. So while I know you came here looking at the big three, is it okay if I deliver? Is it okay if I deliver? Yes? Yes. All right. So most agency, if you run a single campaign, they're going to charge a $1,500 monthly retainer. Okay. You add something else on, it's more work for them, right? Supposedly. So they're going to add another 500, or they charge it in a variety of different ways. So on top of the big three, okay, I want to give you full access to the entire library. So whether you're doing the big three, or maybe you've got other niche services that you're seeing here, plantar fasciitis, shoulder pain, maybe you're working with, shockwave therapy, lasers, cervical decompression, whatever it is, we got all these really cool things here for you. This is my entire library of proven ads, which means if you want neuropathy patients, yeah, you can launch those in 3 clicks. Decompression, 3 clicks. Knee patients, 3 clicks. Weight loss, 3 clicks. Chiropractic, 3 clicks. Thyroid, 3 clicks. Whatever you need in just 3 clicks. Okay. And just so we're clear, there are no upcharges when you want to run 3 campaigns at once, when you want to run 20 campaigns at once. Okay. There will never be time wasted switching between conditions, because as you saw in that demo, it takes less than a minute to do. And there's never any additional setup fees every time you start a new campaign or whatever it is, right? Unlimited means unlimited. All right. I know what this means to you, okay? But if all this thing did, if so far, if all this thing did, I know that we've presented it in a perfect light, but really just ask yourself this. If all it did was make it so you could stop working with a bunch of tire kickers, would that be worth it? Okay, if all this thing did was get you the same results, but you didn't have to pay an agency, would that be worth it? It's not our goal, of course. Okay. If all this did was help you know exactly where you need to go to get more business, would that be worth it? If all this thing did was to help you just get 10 new patients a month, or 7, or what if we totally flopped and just got you 4? Would that be worth it? I'm not here to get you 4 patients. My point is this. This is a powerful tool. And even if we get in that conservative formula, it can help you grow and change your practice forever and totally, totally, totally make it worth your while. So here's what you're getting. The library, the big 3 library. You can launch your ads in 3 clicks, saving you a ton of money, never have to hiring an agency to do it again. Unlimited access to the full library, over 21 niches, okay? Total value of 38 grand, at least, minimum. So here we are again. All right, this is amazing. Again, I can see how easy it is to get patients, okay? I don't have to, work with any agencies. I've got all these proven offers, but what about all those leads? How am I going to learn this? Do I have time to learn this? What if it is harder than I thought? Well, first of all, I'm not going to ask you to go in and create your own automated suite. I'm going to install that for you. Okay. You'll onboard, my team will install it for you. Bada bing, bada boom. You'll have appointment automation, and you'll have lead nurturing installed that is automated. Here's what's included in that suite. We have pre-built reactivation campaigns that actually work, 2-way texting and broadcasting, call recording, voicemail broadcasting, messenger access, website chat icon if you want to put that on and start getting leads, review request automation if you want to get rid of things like review wave, save some money, you can do that too. Scheduling and appointment reminders, total value of $2,364 minimum. A lot of that's recurring. If you got a review request, that's going to be $297 a month. So that's just a single monthly thing, which means all of these things that we're talking about, all of these softwares, if you have any of these, you're going to instantly be able to save, remove, and get rid of them entirely and start saving big. Okay. And once again, we install it for you. It is proven to work and it is easy to use. 100% a customer satisfaction, 100% guarantee. If it doesn't work, then, we shouldn't earn your money anyway. Okay. So once again, we're getting all these things. Let's go and talk about where we came up with our pricing. Listen, I could have priced this thing high for what it does. I could have said, hey, we're just going to work with high ticket clinics. That's all we're going to do, larger budgets, and just make it, we're going to be a concierge kind of service. Or I could say, we're going to make this program affordable for everyone and help as many people as possible. Again, I haven't forgotten where I started. I haven't forgotten why I do this. So when you work with the typical agency, they're going to charge you $2,000 a month. We're not going to charge you that. Okay. And not to mention they charge you that much, but you get poorly run ads. You're the person chasing them down when leads fall off the mark. And then you're left with just a bunch of crappy leads. So here's what we decided to do. When you sign up from this webinar, we're going to give you this entire thing for just $497 per month. Okay. We're going to have a record scratch here for just a minute. This is where, at which point in time, when we share the price, it's a ridiculous cost. I mean, it's a lower cost already, but there are still people who ask things like this. Listen, if this works so well, why not let us try it for free first? It's an interesting idea. So here's what we're going to do. Okay. I've got that question many, many times. So here's what we're going to do for the live participants and for 24 hours on replay. Instead of paying $497 today, what we're going to do instead to entirely remove the risk is give you 14 days to try it out for free. Okay. That is 14 days of getting qualified leads. That is 14 days of taking complete control of your marketing. That is 14 days of seeing what your practice's new potential can be with what I'm representing. And that is 14 days risk-free, just to see if it works, just to see if this is the solution, once again, that we are presenting it as. Okay. And then after that, it's just $497 a month and their month-to-month contracts. You guys, is that fair? Could I have made it any more fair? I've entirely removed the financial risk from working and testing this new thing. Why would I do that? Because it works so poorly? No, because it's such a game changer and I know what this can do in your practice. So I'm happy to put my money where my mouth is, give you 14 days for free. And then once you've proven it up, you can start paying a ridiculously low price of $497 a month. Okay. Now, because experience and everything, getting you guys set up and making sure that you are streamlined into getting your results, I wanted to also include VIP onboarding. Okay. I've told you we install our system. I want to break down what that looks like. In your first visit, we're going to get you within 45 minutes, get you set up, everything installed for you, and you will launch your own ads with us right there to hold your hand within that first call. Okay. We'll activate your booking bot. And then the following weeks, we're going to help you grow and scale past that initial setup with other meetings, with amazing support and resources. And you're going to be absolutely blown away. All right. So one more time, for 2 weeks for free, you guys are getting all of this value, $40,364, the entire access to the library, our 3-click automation, our booking bot, our VIP. You're getting all of that for free just for signing up and trying it today. And hopefully that's a fair enough offer. But before we finish up here, okay, I wanted to add this on. If I don't know why I should even add this on. Okay, I'm going to put a bow on this though. Okay, I really do think that a lot of times when anybody signs up for a new service, for anything, they can only make a fully informed decision from the inside. Okay, you can't really make a fully informed decision from the outside right now. You're on the outside. You haven't used it. You don't know. So you can only make a fully informed decision when you are on the inside. Okay. When you buy Patient Stream, you buy with absolute confidence, because if you're unhappy for any reason, then we're not happy either. And I understand that giving you your money back is the absolute right thing to do. If you're not happy you gave us your money, I don't want it. Okay. So one last time, we're going to give you all this great stuff. Okay. We're going to let you have access to it. Try it for 14 days for free. The value is amazing. So let's go ahead and get started right now today. You guys, I hope you're excited. We're going to open this up for questions. I am going to go ahead and put the link. Give me 1 second. I'm going to copy this link real quick and put it in the chat so you guys can, and you're seeing my desktop right now. My apologies. I'll put this in the chat so you can just click on it and go. All right. Sorry about that, guys. All right, let me go ahead and paste this in. All right, there's the link, yourintegratedpractice.com/go. That link will give you instant access to 14 days free. All right, get you all the stuff, the library, all of that capability in for your first 2 weeks. So if you have questions, we're going to go ahead and pull up the chat here. If you have questions, go ahead and type them in now. That is 14 minutes and 27 seconds to answer questions, as well as just feel free to open a tab and we'll go ahead and start answering those questions. Are there any hidden costs? No, there's no hidden costs. I think that a lot of times when people come in here and they ask about like hidden costs, the only other thing, and I guess we'll be clear about this, when you're running your Facebook ads, you do have to pay for your Facebook ad spend. Okay. So whatever your budget is, as you saw in the demo, if you're going to spend, $40 a day, that obviously would be in addition to that, but you're paying that already when you work with an agency. Oh, better than an agency. Okay. Better than an agency. I guess I have the benefit of seeing how the ads ran before the automation as an agency and post software and how it works now. And I feel like I have a credible foot to stand on, seeing how my agency had a published case study by Facebook. So yeah, I think it works much better than the agency. And I'll expound a little bit upon that. It doesn't make spelling errors. It doesn't make targeting errors. It doesn't make any human errors. Okay, because it's software. We program it in there. There are leads that we test and have vetted over 8 years of me doing this. And so, yeah, I mean, the ads are awesome. The software is getting better every month. So yeah, I think it is better than an agency. All right, you guys grab the chat. Let me know if you have any other questions. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up real quick. All right, any other questions? There's a hand up, and I don't know. I can't turn on the audio. So if you can type in your question, that would be awesome. Okay. All right. Is my air exclusive? It's a good question. And I understand why people ask this question. Mostly because they feel like, if I have somebody right next to me and we're running the exact same campaign, isn't that a problem? Well, if that was normally the case, if that ever actually happened, then we would know about it. And we would, say, okay, let's go ahead and, find a resolution to this. But the reality is we have over 150 different templates. And even within, for example, the spinal decompression, like if you have 2 clinics 3 miles away from each other, both going out for patients like that, we have dozens of campaigns that you could use. So they're not the exact same campaign, right? And if the person 3 miles away from you is going to be using our library, but you want exclusivity, they could go to another agency and market for the same thing. So you may as well have them using the same tool. So we don't do exclusivity. If that ever became an issue, and after 3 years of offering this version of the software, if it ever became an issue, I would address it. But after 3 years, it never has been. And we've had over 125, 7 active clients using it at any given point in time. So it's not been an issue. All right, you guys grab the chat. I'm going to grab a quick drink of water. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm here for 10 minutes. If you have questions, I missed the first 20 minutes. I will have a replay available. Give me 1 second. Yes, I will have a replay available, Dr. Collins, so you can see this. But it's 2 weeks free, so you can buy with plenty of confidence. And if you figure out that it's not a fit for you, that's fine. We understand. All right. Any other questions? Put your questions in here. What about Google? Google's awesome. We do not currently offer Google in our software package. We have a couple of clients that we do offer Google to. It's a completely different, separate package. It's more manual, and mostly it's for people who love our platform and want to stay on our platform, but add in that function because they've done it before. They don't want to not do it. And so we make accommodations that are more customized for those people. So we don't currently do any Google ads as part of this promotion. Okay, so in terms of, let's see here, in terms of budget, so there's a question, you could pay the $497, but the Facebook ads in terms of budget, so $300 a month. Here's what I would say. If you feel like this, if you feel like this is a good fit for you, if you've come on here and you're like, hey, everything I'm saying is awesome, I want to do this, I want to also like be able to win, meaning you are going to need some ad dollars, like you're going to need that. Is there a solution? If you have a sizable email list from past patients, one of the things that you can do is do a database reactivation. Now, we've seen this be incredibly powerful, meaning you come in, maybe you've got 2,000, 3,000 past patients. We can put those into one of our, I said earlier, and I didn't hit on this hard because it's not the primary thing that people sign up for Patient Stream for, but we can do a database reactivation, make you some money so you can roll that money into more advertising dollars. So if you have that, then you can go that route. If you have a budget of just $300 a month for advertising, I wouldn't spend it here. I would set up your foundation to get your care plans up, your case fees, all that kind of stuff, get that up to a more healthy level before we jump into growing. I don't want to have all of the anxious dollars. So every lead that you get in, you're so, obsessed over that they don't ultimately convert anyway. But I appreciate the question. It's a good question. I just want to make sure that when you jump into this, that you jump into it with the right expectations and the best potential to win. What can I expect as far as patients? All right. This is a good question. So we can actually kind of piggyback off of the previous response. If you're spending $500 a month, or if you're spending $5,000 a month, one is going to obviously get more results than another, right? So what I found is the least that you spend, the longer it's going to take you to recoup your results. Okay. So it's really important to just go in with a full pipeline and be really, ready to go after this thing in the right way, and not short yourself, just not shortchange yourself in that regard. Right. So one thing is your budget. Then the other thing is just expectations over time. Now, there's always these ingredients here. Okay. You have what happens in your first 4 to 6 weeks, what happens on the weeks after, and so on and so forth. But the benefit of, we have clinics that have been running ads with us for now over 3 years. The benefit of doing ads over time is you build a big database. All right. We had a clinic, I don't know, 6 months ago, who their ad account got shut down. That does happen from time to time. Their ad account got shut down, and they were like, hey, we can't run any ads. What should we do? And so they would generally get between like 50 to 70 appointments booked per month. The month that their ad account was shut down, they got like 52 appointments. How did that happen? Well, it's because they had a year of leads that they had gotten from Facebook. And a lot of people think that those leads, they're not really like interested. They're not patients. They're not potential patients. That couldn't be further from the truth. They just, for whatever reason, they got busy. You guys all have the same thing. They got busy, whatever the case may be. And life got in the way. So by following up and by doing those kind of things, by using our automation, you can really reactivate that list and get even more results over time. So that's a very bouncing around way in terms of what can I expect as far as patients. In your first 6 weeks, you should expect about 10% to convert into patients. Now, this is just maintaining average numbers. All right. Then after your first 6 weeks, and the reason the number goes up is because you have the leads from the current period, then all the leads from the previous 6 weeks or the previous 6 months, whatever it is, you can see those numbers go up as high as 25, 30%. Okay. So if you're doing 100 leads in a month, which isn't hard to do, then you could be doing 20 to 30 patients. All right, good question. Any other questions here? Let me keep going here. Questions, use the chat there. Still have a couple people. We've got a couple people still on waiting to ask some questions. Got 4 minutes left. Do we have a referral program? Yes, we do. It's 20% recurring revenue. So if you refer over, what is that? Like 4 friends, 5 friends, you get it for free, right? So that's cool. Yeah, we do have a referral program. All right. What other questions, you guys? I'm going to take a quick drink. Give me a second. We got a little over 3 minutes. If you don't have any more questions, we can skip to the end. That's fine too. But if you have some questions, definitely put them in the chat. Let me know. What if I need help? All right. One of the amazing things that happened when we shifted from us running the ads to our software running the ads is the ability. I mean, well, I'll put it this way. The amount of headspace and energy that went from reacting to problems, and then the amount of energy and time that went to being proactive with problems just changed everything, right? So we've got great support. We've got, you can get our support desk on right within Patient Stream. You can click on a chat widget and get somebody there during business hours. We've got email support. And if it's complicated, if there's something that's just not getting fixed that way, we'll jump on a phone call with you. Absolutely. No problem. Right. Get all those issues fixed for you. So not only do we install everything, but we have awesome support. I would say our support today is better by a mile than it was even when we were having that case study published, right? Let's see here. All right. So Facebook ads, are ads just going to my list or to all? Oh no, your entire area. So the question is, in terms of Facebook ads, who are they going to? Today, Facebook ads are they're getting so much more intuitive. And I know you hear about other platforms, TikTok and all these other ones. By the way, TikTok, I have no issues with TikTok. However, right now, the lead generation engine just stinks. Like if it just does not produce qualified leads for local businesses. And you guys are a local business. So it doesn't go to just your list. We actually, for your list, we use all email, all text. That way you're not paying out the nose, to keep, once you generate a lead, you have the contact, don't keep paying for the lead, just go to other people. So, I think I answered your question. All right. Do you have chiropractic? Yeah, we do. And I know the case study focused more on the specialty services, and this one is about the big 3. We do have chiropractic. Now, there are some immutable points about chiropractic that if people in sales, we say a tactic known is a tactic blown. If people understand that it has a particular price point, there's not much we can do about that. But we do have some clinics that do very well with our chiropractic marketing and they just know how to turn those coupon or those discount offers into patients. People, have done that successfully. The guarantee, we talked about the guarantee. It's a satisfaction guarantee. And I make that broad because at the end of the day, I found that a lot of these guarantees that these agencies offer are all so conditional. It's like, well, if you don't do this or if you don't do that, like they'll make crazy guarantees like the one that we saw on this where 90 new patients. Well, they might do that like 90 new patients in 5 years. And then you have to do all these things. I mean, they're not really guarantees. And I think that I'd rather be transparent and simple. If you're not happy to be a Patient Stream customer, then we don't want to keep your money, right? So I want you satisfied. That's not to say that we're perfect, but that is what it is. So we're out of time, and I want to thank everyone for being here. So here's how this is going to work. Again, you're getting 14 days free. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put in the chat the link one more time for anybody who is interested. Thank you for sticking around. This has been amazing. The offer is extended to Sunday night at midnight. And yeah, guys, I appreciate you so much, and have an amazing, amazing week and an amazing, hopefully we can turn your practice into a cash producing cow. All right, guys, thanks for coming, and I will see you real soon.